Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that page was backwards, but this is page 4. Number 1, the equation and graph show how 2 plumbing companies charge for visiting a home and doing a repair. So up here you have alpha plumbing charges, and it's y equals 35 plus 50x. Hold on 1 second. Where x is time worked in hours and y is the total cost. And then down here you have the graph. So the alpha, sorry, I forgot my 0 down here. How much more does alpha charge than beta for a repair that takes 8 hours? So alpha is 35 plus 50 times 8, which is 400 plus 35, which is 435. And beta is 50 plus 40 times 8, which is 370, and then you subtract the alpha charges from the beta charges, and you see alpha charges $65 more. Number 2, which of the following relationships is not a function? So remember, functions, the x, for every input, there's exactly one output. So for every x value, there is only one y value. So the x values cannot repeat. The y values can repeat, but the x values cannot. So, for example, down here, where 20 goes to 17 and 30 also goes to 17, that is fine. But up here, 10 goes to 12, 10 goes to 13, 10 goes to 14. That is not a function. That is going to have 2 dots that overlap. When you do the pencil test, and you take your pencil and you drag it across and make sure 2 dots are not on top of each other, this A would fail. Down here, which of the following of the graph is the graph of a function? So you're looking for, when you drag your line, you don't want any dots on top of each other. So here you have this one on top of this, meaning they're the same x value, not a function. Here you have this one on top of this one on top of this one, not a function. Jumping down to D, perfect circle is going to be, you're going to have lots of lines matching up. When you go across here, nothing stacks. Therefore, C is a function. Which of the following can be the graph of an equation of the term y equals mx plus b? So that's a linear equation. So you're looking for what makes a line. D makes a line. And I'm going to jump back over here and go to page 5. So page 5, the table shows how 2 cell phone plans charge for minutes. Got plan A, got plan B. Plan A, you can see that it goes up, and it comes out to have a rate of change at 0.6 cents per minute. So they're charging just 6 cents a minute. Plan B, however, as the number of minutes increases by 500, the charge goes down by $5 for each additional. So if you have 500 minutes, you're paying $35. But if you get 1,000 minutes, they're only going to charge you $65. So you only got charged $30 more instead of $35 more. And then when you get to 1,500, you only got charged $25 more. When you went up to 2,000, you only got charged $20 more, meaning when you go up to 2,500, you're only going to get charged $15 more. So you take the 110, you add 15. So for 2,500 minutes in B, it's going to be $125. And for 25 minutes in A, you just multiply that by the 6 cents a minute, it's going to be $150. The relationship in plan A can be described as a function. Is this a linear function? It is a linear function because you can write it in y equals ax, y equals mx form, meaning y equals 0.6x. So when you input how many minutes and you multiply it by 0.6, you're going to get the output of your monthly charge. Number 1, which equation does not represent a function? Again, x values can't repeat. So if x equals 5, it means that every single y value, x is 5, that is not a function. Which xy table represents a function? Look for the repeating values. And those ones are not. So all of these have repeating values. 2, 2, 3, 3, negative 3, negative 3. However, here, no repeating x values. That is a function. I'm going to go up to page 6. Yes. The River Company offers canoe rentals for a flat use fee of $10 plus $12 per hour for each hour the canoe is rented. The cost of renting a canoe from Acme Boat Rental is shown in the graph. So you have the 10 plus 12x over here, 10 plus, I put 4 because the question asks you 4 hours you want to compare. So River for 4 hours is $58. Acme, you want to figure out at 4 hours, it's about $40. Just looking at the graph, you don't need to do any type of solving there. And then you're going to subtract 58 from 40. It's about $18 more to rent with Company A, or the River Company. Number 1. A dolphin is swimming at a constant speed. It travels 30 meters every 5 seconds. What is the slope of a line that shows the relationship between x, time in seconds, and y, distance in meters, traveled by the dolphin? So here I'm going to compare meters to seconds. 30 meters for 5 seconds. 30 divided by 5 is 6, so 6 meters per second. B. Number 2. These equations and tables describe 4 different proportional relationships. You have y equals 5x, y equals 10/3 x. Right here you have a table, another table. Which equation or table describes the relationship with the greatest rate of change? So you want to find the slope for everything. So 10/3 is the slope, 5 is the slope. You would need to do some solving here to figure out the slope. Your 8 minus 1 is 8 minus 1 is 7. 7, or sorry, can't tell if it's, no, it's not 8. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. So this is the slope of 1. Over here, you know, you're trying to figure it out. 15 over 5 is slope of 3. So you're comparing 5, 10/3, 1, and 3. So slope 5 is the greatest slope. Therefore, equation 1 has the greatest rate of change. Number 3. The graph shows how the cost of bananas depends on the amount purchased. Which expression gives the cost of the bananas in dollars per pound? So use the 2 points they gave you. Use 2, 3, and 6, 9. And then you just want to make sure you set it up correctly in slope formula, and using the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 9 minus 3 over 6 minus 2. Alright, I'm going up to page 7 here. The tables and graphs below describe 4 proportional relationships between x and y. Alright, so you got these all here. Which table and graph describe relationships with equal rates of change? So basically you're just trying to figure out what is the slope for each one, compare them. Once you do that, you'll see that table 2 and table 1 both have a slope of 1/3. Number 5. The equation and graph below describe 2 different relationships between x and y. Which statement most accurately describes and compares the 2 relationships? So here the rate of change is, they're both proportional relationships, and the equation describes the relationship with the greater rate of change. So you know they're both proportional, they both make the line. They both can be written in the form y equals ax. The slope here is 3/4. The slope here is 7/10. 3/4 is greater than 7/10, therefore the equation has the greater rate of change. Number 1, a hardware store orders boxes of screws from its suppliers. Each box holds 250 screws. The number of screws and the cost for different numbers of boxes is shown in the graph below. So here you're just trying to find the change in y over the change in x. And kind of look, we have cost in dollars here, number of screws. So just read through these. What are you trying to figure out? What does the slope represent? The slope is the change in y over the change in x. The slope represents the number of screws purchased for each dollar. So if you paid $2, you get 250 screws. If you pay $4, you get 500 screws. $6, 750 screws. So comparing the number of screws to how much they cost. A publishing company is shipping boxes containing copies of the latest novel to bookstores. The number of boxes shipped and the total weight of the boxes are shown in the graph below. Which slope calculation correctly represents the weight in pounds of a single box of books? So you have the total weight, the number of boxes. I picked this point up here, 160 over 5. And that will give you with the number of boxes shipped and the total weight. Which slope calculation correctly represents the weight in pounds of a single box of books? So 160 divided by 5, right there, D. Let's see, page 8, and this is going to be the final page for this group of notes. And then later on today, I will get the rest of them up for pages 9 through 16. Mr. Davis wants to rent a truck for a move across the country. The cost, so this is comparing the 30-foot truck to the 24-foot truck. How much more would Mr. Davis have to pay to rent the 30-foot truck? So a 30-foot truck is C equals 60D, and the 24-foot truck is right here. So here you have 290 over 2 for your rate of change, because it goes through the 0. So up here you have C equals 60 times 5, because he wants to rent it for 5 days. So it's going to be $300 to rent it, the 30-foot truck. And down here, 45 times 5 is going to be $225 to rent the 24-foot truck. So it's a $75 difference. A nursery sells 2 different types of fast-growing bamboo. The height in centimeters of one type of bamboo after a number of days can be represented by the equation H equals 6D. The height of a second type of bamboo is shown in the table. How many times faster per day does the first type of bamboo grow? Again, these are all equations. You're setting up H equals 6D. So this grows 6 centimeters a day, and the table shows you that it's growing 4.5 centimeters a day. Divide these two. 4/3 is the difference between them. Number 5. I think this is the last one for page 8. The Rockville Company pool is being drained for maintenance. The graph shows the progress of draining the pool. So draining the pool, 600,000 gallons in 125 hours. That drains at 4,800 gallons an hour. Then they fill it up. 600,000 gallons, 150 hours. It fills at 4,000 gallons an hour. 4,800. So it's a difference of how much faster does the pool drain than it fills up. It drains 800 gallons per hour faster than it fills. So, all right. Well, that's pages. Pages 1, 2, and 3 are on the first slide. Then pages 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are going to be on this one. And then look for 9 through 16 in a little while. Thanks, guys. Hope you're staying safe.